Hey guys, in this session, I'm going to tell you about F5 LTM monitors. We have seen the multiple scenarios in the F5 that we have a pool member, and these pool members show green or red based on the monitors basically. So if you go to any of the pool here, right, or the node, let's say we are going to that node. And inside that node, we define a monitor here. You see that here health monitors we have defined that is basically an ICMP. So let's deep dive that what the ICMP is as a health monitor and why these monitors are important. So if I jump back to the little bit theoretical sessions because there are different type of monitors, then very first and basic question that what is a monitor? So monitors are basically used for the health check. Like whenever we have the multiple servers connected here, it means that this is your F5 LTM. And if there are three servers S1, S2, and S3, which are serving the request, basically they are the servers responsible for any of the traffic. It means that let's suppose you are accessing the google.com. So that request will be landing on the F5 and that F5 will send that back to the server and server will basically the response that will results opening the page here, the google.com. That's what it happens. But how basically the F5 will come to know that all the servers are up and running and they are ready to send that page which is loading. The basically we call it as a content of that page. So how basically that F5 will come to know that these servers are healthy and they are ready to provide the service and they will send a requested page. So for that purpose, we used to have this monitor. Like this F5 keep on monitoring these servers that actually are the available, has not any server went down because of the power supply or overload or because of any other issue, and is that ready to serve the request. So if that is the case, it is went down or it's not ready to serve the request. If the F5 will not come to know, it will also the send request, and that way you will see that intermittent drops, right? Because whenever the request goes to the server 1 and 2, here and here it will be fine, but whenever the F5 sends to S server 3, the page will not be loading for that user and they will see that intermittently the services are down. So it is responsibility of that load balancer that if that server is not healthy and it's not good, it should not send the request to the S3. That's why the purpose of the load balancer or the F5, that it makes sure the availability and only available server serves the request. So in order to check or get the health, we use the monitors. So these monitors are used to monitor the device, link, as well as the service. Also, they take care of the specified timeout period. For example, at how much time it is taking to serve any request. So if it is taking longer, then obviously the server, this F5 declares that, okay, this server is not healthy and it's not going to serve that request. Now, there are different types of monitors based on their type of the monitors. The very first type of the monitor, or I think I will suggest the different criteria that like ways of monitoring, I will say. The very first thing, these are basically mentioned on the F5 portal, what I'm talking about. Okay. So there's nothing new here. That's based on the content they provide. I'm also taking that reference only. So very first thing is known as an active or not active, basically simple monitoring. The first one is our simple monitor. Second one is active monitor. and third one is our passive monitors. The very first thing, the first monitor, that basically known as the simple monitor, they takes care of that whether your server is available or not, right? It could be that service is available or not available. I will not take care of that one, but I will just do some simple checks. Okay, so simple checks, whenever I say, the very first simple check is our ICMP. I will just ping that server, that whether that ping is available or not, like that my server is responding to that my ping or not. Okay, another type of, we have like this gateway ICMP. Okay, similar type of thing. Another way, we are having the TCP echo. Okay, so it is basically like send a TCP echo to that server. If that server responds, then I will come to know that okay, that server is available. So this is just like your hardware is up or not. That's what we are checking. We are not checking some other things which will also be responsible for loading the page. That type of thing is, for example, you have configured the service for let's say SSH, right? Or let's say HTTPS port 443, right? Very common one. Now you are serving the, like pinging the server. That server is having an IP address of 192.168.1.10. You ping that server somewhere, and that server is responding back using the simple monitor. But whatever the services are responsible, let's suppose you are running an Apache inside that server, and that Apache is not running. So your ping is working, your server is up, but actually your service is still not up. It means that that's users, whatever will be like opening that page using HTTPS, that will still not be working. Okay, so in that case, we need a special service monitoring, right? So that we comes as, we also call it as a service check monitor. Okay, these type this here, these are called as a, also called as an address check monitor, because basically you are pinging an IP address and making sure that okay, server is available. These are called as the service check monitors, like you are checking the service. So if I talk about this active monitoring, right? So these active monitoring basically checks out the response for the pool, right? So whenever I talk about the pool, I talk about the service also. Like I will just make sure that if I am monitoring this HTTPS, my HTTPS service is up or not. If I am focusing on the HTTP monitor, like port 80, then here I will make sure that okay, my actual service for which that virtual server is configured, or the server is meant for, is that actual service running or not running. Okay, another type of services are, which is our passive monitors. So passive monitors are little bit slow, because they uh, the checks, the monitoring checks the health of pool member based on the specified number of the connection attempts, or the data request attempts that occur within the specified time period. So for example, that specified time period, we are like the server is not able to uh, serve the more requests, right? So let's say I say that here there is server, and earlier it was sending that 10 services per second. But now let's suppose it is serving something like one or two services per request, services per second, right? This is 10 service, or I will say connection, 10 connection per second. This will like 1 to 2 connection per second. So if now it has degraded from here, so in that case, basically, can we declare that this server is down or not? Right? So now you see that here it was 10, but it is still serving. It is not entirely down. So these type of declaration here in the passive monitors are little slow. It takes time to declare that server has really went down or not. Okay, it also checks that connections, that how many connections it is making, least connection methods. So these type of monitors we set, these are called as the passive monitors, right? So here you see the first monitor, that is basically like you are pinging the IP addresses. In the second active monitors, main focus will be on the services, and the third here like more about the performance, that how basically my server is performing. All right. So if I jump onto the lab section here, all right, and if I go to the nodes and open this node here, and you can see that the health monitor I have selected as an ICMP, and that's basically a node specific. So if I go to a node default, even then basically it is going to use as an ICMP, because the default monitor, if I go here, this entirely monitor tab is here, right? So if I go to this monitor section, right, and in that monitor section I can see the different types of already available monitors, that what are the right now monitors are available. Okay, so if I go to pool, sorry, nodes, and I show you the default monitor. Okay, so what is the default monitor right now? So in the default monitor there is a nothing configured as of now. Okay, so when I say the default monitors, so why it is very important? Because in any node, for example, I go to this node list and I go to create any node, right? If I'm going to create node, it's always selected as a node default, always, every time. Okay, so that's why it is very important to set something for your as a default monitor. If you do not set it, your F5 LTM will not send any health check from here to actual server. That's what it is going to happen, right? So right now, if you see that my monitor is configured as an ICMP here, right? So if I go here, and in this, I have configured as an ICMP for the server 2, right? CPM server 2. So for the server 2, I'm sending an ICMP. So if I go here on that server 2 and to the packet capture, right? Then let's see that are we really getting that request or not, right? So if I open my recap, okay, so you see that these are continuously monitors are there for this TCP. Okay, these are like coming for the TCP here. You see that everything is coming. That echo is also coming, ICMP also. That this TCP is also coming. Okay, I'll stop it here. And if I scroll up, you see that there are certain ICMP echo request, right, every time, and they are coming from the 172.16.1.1, which is basically a self IP of our F5, and going to here 170.16.1.20. So this is the echo pull request, and after that one we will see the reply, right? That's how it is happening. Also we have a pool here, right? So if I go to the pool list, in that pool, what I have done, I have selected monitor as an STTP. So it means that this pool is also checking the services for the STTP, that whether they are available or not. Right? It could be that I'm trying to ping this server. Let me clear this out. So what I mean that ping. So ping means that if I'm pinging this IP from here to here, it's replying. So I say that okay, this server is available, right? Or I will say that node is available. But what about that HTTP for what my service is? Is that basically that in the web browser, will that opening that request or it will not be opening, right? So for that we need that port 80 is working or not. So in order to check that port 80, I have a monitor as a HTTP monitor here defined inside the pool, right? I can also define a gateway ICMP. Both of them can work all together, not a problem, right? I can do, and also I have like advanced configuration, and I can tell them that if any of them is available, then mark this as a up. You can also like mark them all, that if ping and HTTP both are working, then only declare that as up. So it's just your choice that how you make that health monitor configuration. Accordingly, your F5 will mark as green and red. But here you have to note that if that server is marked as red, it will not be serving the request. That request will not be sent to that server now. Only in case of green, the request will be sent to that server or the pool member. So we have to be very cautious and never change these monitors in the production environment, because without change window, because let's suppose something up and down happened, and that server is actually serving the request, and that server is healthy and up and running, but it's still because of this monitor complexity, or you have like not configured them correctly, that went right. So in that case, the request will not be served by that server. Although like other will be still working, but let's say you are doing something on the pool, right? So in that case, pool is not having the right way. So all of them could say show as a rate, and that may lead us to the situation that everything is down and your services are not running well. Correct. So this is the one of the uh, method of the monitoring the services. Now, if I go come back here, right? So you see that these monitors are already configured. Whatever I was seeing under the pool list here, right? This list. If I go here, and this you see that these list of the available monitors. So these monitors, what from where they are coming? They are coming from here, monitor section. You see that there are a lot of available monitors. So if I go to any of the monitor, let's say HTTP, what it says? It says that send string get. Okay, and accordingly it will declare that whether we are getting a response from the HTTP server or not. So these are one of the method we use in the web server: get, put, finish, right? Delete, not finish, not the delete is there. Get, put, delete, right? So these are like methods we used in the web servers, and based on that, these requests are coming. So this is a send string, and receive string should be something like 200. Okay, right? So that's like the default one. You can create your own custom monitors. What you can do, you can go in the create section. You can create like my custom monitor, and now you can select that which type of monitor you are going to create it. So let's say I create for the HTTP. Okay, so if I want to create an HTTP, then what should be the interval of that monitor, right? After how many seconds it will be sending that health check, correct? And after how much time it will declare them as a timeout. Let's suppose we I send the first health check after 5 seconds, next after again 5 seconds, again 5 seconds. You see that 16 seconds. It means that three consecutive miss are there. Like we pinged or the same string three times, and if that F5 do not receive that back, three consecutive one, then it will declare as a timeout that okay, I'm not getting any response. And how basically it is sending as a get slash r slash n. They're like different monitor string that you can get from the application owner, that how basically they have configured the services on their server, but there should be a response. So for example, you are doing something like called uh, uh, let's say my website sapmsecurity.com slash uh, palo slash something like index dot e x t, or something, any value, right? This is not mandatory that what is going to happen here. Anything could be like whenever we are trying to access that one, then we should get some string. And what should the string get? Suppose it says that the Palo Alto data. What is the response we are getting? Or like let's suppose we get like 200. Okay. So what is the response it is there? That should come. If it does not get that response after sending this request, then it will declare as a unhealthy, or it will not be working. All right. So in some cases, like let's suppose it's a login page, right? It could be like you're logging on that page. So in that case, you need some username and password for that. That okay, it will also try to log use using the login and password, and will that page is working or not. Okay, so that's what basically we can do using the custom monitor. So custom monitors we use in some cases, but it just always with the help of the application team. You cannot find these things by your own. It just always takes help from the uh, application owner, that they will give you that okay, for this query this will be the response. So you have to get in touch with application owner, then only it is going to work it. Okay, so same thing like we can take for other services like DNS and all. There are different things. Accordingly, you can use those. All right, guys. So I will stop it here in the monitor section. If you feel that if you have any questions, let me know or write to me. I will be happy to help you. Meanwhile, I'll stop it here. See you in the next session. Till that, bye bye.